The internet is the largest thing that humanity has built. I wanted to know what goes into making it possible. A few years ago, I began questioning what it really takes to make a PowerPoint presentation like this one. First, we need lots of infrastructure, starting with an electric grid that delivers power to my house and to industrial sites. And most electricity goes to industrial sites. We also need access networks. Access networks are made up of cables, satellites, routers, antennas, modems, and battery backup systems. They're huge energy guzzlers. These pictures show mobile networks. With 5G, the fifth generation of mobile networks, like the second picture, cell sites get closer to our homes. In theory, 5G is more energy efficient than 4G, but efficiency actually increases energy use and extractions, water use, toxic waste, and greenhouse gas emissions. This applies to 5G because it will encourage users to stream more and more videos. The additional streaming will increase energy use and everything else. Also, manufacturers will make billions of new 5G compatible devices and millions of new cell sites. That takes energy and extractions. To store this PowerPoint, we need data centers. From floor to ceiling, data centers hold servers and cooling systems. This takes tremendous electricity. In 2012, Greenpeace reported that if data centers were a country, they would rank 5th in energy use. Their electricity use grows by about 20% each year. Data centers also take water. To keep cool, a new data center in Arizona will consume 1.25 million gallons every day. Of course, data centers, computers, and cooling systems must be manufactured. And in a data center, they're replaced about every 3 years. A smartphone is also a computer, and it embodies about 1,000 substances, and each has its own energy-intensive, greenhouse gas-emitting, water-intensive, toxic waste-emitting supply chain with worker hazards. So does every computer. Usually, what goes into manufacturing has kept invisible to me. What goes into manufacturing, what happens to my computer before I turn it on for the first time, is embodied. I began to grasp the magnitude of the energy embodied in every computer when I learned what it takes to make silicon wafers. Computers, circuit boards, and solar panel wafers, by the way, start with silicon wafers. Out of the silicon wafers, we get transistors. Transistors process and store data and provide apps and much, much more. One iWatch can have more than 1 billion transistors. They're made from silicon, an element not found in nature in pure form. Manufacturing silicon typically requires pure quartz gravel, a carbon such as petroleum coke, which is an oil byproduct that might come from the tar sands, and hard, dense, moist wood that could come from the Amazon rainforest. These 3 things are transported to a smelter that operates at 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit for 6 or 7 years at a time. Smelters generate toxic waste like carbon monoxide, formaldehyde, hydrogen chloride, lead, oxides of nitrogen, particulates, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, sulfur dioxide, and sulfuric acid mist. Because interrupting delivery of electricity to a smelter can blow it up, it cannot be powered by solar, photovoltaics, or industrial wind facilities, which only provide intermittent power. Smelters depend on natural gas, coal, nuclear, and/or hydropower. To make electrically conductive semiconductors, manufacturers dope the silicon with hundreds of layers of chemicals. Every layer takes ultra-pure water, water that's had organic and inorganic compounds, particulates, and minerals removed. It takes about 1,600 gallons of city water to make 1,000 gallons of ultra-pure water, or 600 liters to 3,800 liters. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company uses 4.7 million gallons of water per day to produce semiconductors. Using water to make semiconductors means taking water from farmers, giving it to factories, and often returning it to rivers and lakes polluted. To provide conductors for a circuit board's electricity, smartphones, laptops, iWatches, and other computers commonly use silver, gold, and copper. For every kilogram of copper mined, at least 210 kilograms of waste are generated. Annually, the global electronics industry uses 280 tons of gold. Small-scale gold miners mix mercury into a slurry with sediment holding gold particles. The mercury binds to the gold and forms an amalgam. The miners cook the amalgam in a fry pan. The mercury evaporates and leaves a gold nugget. The mercury vapors and tailings contaminate nearby waterways and land. In Chinese factories, young people sterilize circuit boards with solvents like N-hexane that cause leukemia and neuromuscular diseases. For batteries, coltan and cobalt are mined in the Democratic Republic of Congo. This is Monica, a 4-year-old cobalt miner. Children have been buried alive mining for cobalt. As for coltan, more people have been murdered over it than any other single event since World War II. Lithium, which is also used for mobile devices batteries, takes water from communities and farmers. And then processing the lithium and discarding the batteries can contaminate water supplies. Computers' raw materials and final products get transported between continents on container ships powered by dirty bunker fuel that acidifies oceans. One cargo ship can hold 20,000 containers. Raw materials and final products are also transported on airplanes and trucks and trains. Think of the energy and extractions embodied in each of these great vehicles, and they need airports, highways, and railroads. Again, one smartphone has more than 1,000 substances, each with its own energy-intensive toxic waste-emitting supply chain. These two slides list about 125 of the 1,000 substances in smartphones. Making these lists has helped me understand why 81% of a laptop's lifetime energy use is embodied. 81% of the laptop's energy use will be consumed before the end user turns that laptop on for the first time. At the end of their usable lives, electronics become e-waste, and they travel again in container ships, this time to dump sites in Africa or Asia, where they may be burned to access copper, for example. I should clarify here that the vast majority of waste is generated during mining, chemical manufacturing, smelting, assembly, and transporting of raw materials, not at the end of life. Electronic waste impacts soil, water, air, and living creatures' health. Electronics do not biodegrade. They're hazardous waste. To reduce our internet footprint, I've just listed 5 things that can help for starters. We need to make use of what we've got with infrastructure and existing devices and software. So don't deploy 5G, and you want to delay upgrading your devices at least every 4 years, basically as long as possible. Since wireless access uses more energy than wired, we want to move away from mobility back towards stationary internet access. We want to petition manufacturers to design products that are 100% biodegradable, repairable, and wired. My dream is that every user would research the supply chain of one substance in their computer and share that research with other people. And I've listed some of those substances and resources at ourweb.tech/campaign. Thanks.